Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Today I'm going to show you again how to make something larger than your mat out of cardstock. I'm doing this because I'm having some crafting friends come to visit me and I want to use these for decorations around their workstations. So I'm going to make a Minnie Mouse and I'm going to make her about 12 inches tall. But in addition to that, I'm going to put her onto a base like this that I'll decorate, and this is about 5 inches. So the total height of Minnie is going to be about 17 inches. So let's get started. Okay, let me quickly refresh your memory how I find good images to use for print and cut if I'm going to do this as a print and cut for larger than mat. So I come to Google and I've typed in Minnie Mouse and then I hit enter and I came to this page. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the word images here and I'm going to come over to tools. And the type of image I'm looking for is clip art. And here's the important part. You want to make sure you come over to size and say large, because that'll make it so that your large image, if you make it larger, isn't going to be pixelated or blurry. So then you can start looking through here for some images that you like. Okay, so I see this one from Etsy and I see this one from clip art. Same thing, right? So I'm going to go to this one and see how it looks. Okay, that's good. And look at the size down here. It's really a good size. So I'll click on it to open it. And then all I have to do is download the transparent clip art and just say download here. And my Minnie has begun to download and it's down here on the left-hand side. So now I can open up Silhouette Studio and I'll go to File and Open. And there she is, and I'll open it. And let me make this smaller. And by the way, I'm going to show you how you can do this just using the free version of the Silhouette software. You don't have to have the business edition. Well, I'm going to go to Help, View In. Right now I'm viewing it in the business edition because I have it, but I can drop down to the standard edition, which is the free version. When I click on this, look at the tools on the left-hand side and you'll see that I don't have as many. There you go, they went away, right? But this is going to work perfectly in the free version. So here we go. So as I said, I wanted her to be about 12 inches tall. So I'm going to lock this lock and I'm going to make her height 12 inches and hit enter. And that's as big as I want her to be. And now I'm going to have to start cutting her apart so that I can work with her. Okay, as you can see, I usually like to put a white offset around my characters. This one I even put stickles on to make them shiny, and it is double-sided and it's very sturdy. So we're going to put a white offset on my other one first. So let's go. Okay, for the offset, I usually just like to use the default one. So I'm going to click on her to select her and then come over here to the offset panel. That's a star with an offset on it. Click on that and just say offset, and it puts the default offset on her. I'm going to come way up here to the upper left hand corner and change the offset to white. Now you can see that really well. And then I'm going to group both of these together. After I've grouped them, I'm going to make a duplicate of this one. I'm going to hold down the Alt button on my keyboard and drag one over. Okay, after I've dragged one over, I'm going to take this one that I dragged over and just ungroup it. And then I'm going to get rid of this top part because I don't need it. And I'm just going to change this to black. Now, notice there's going to be a cut here. I can leave it like that if I want to, or I can have it where it doesn't cut out. It's up to whatever I decide. And I think I'll let it cut. So I'm going to change all of this to black, because I'm going to build my Minnie on here, both sides. So the next thing I want to do is I want to duplicate her one more time. So I'm going to hit down my Alt key and drag one over, and I'm going to mirror her. So I'm going to flip her horizontally. So she'll go on the back of this piece. Right now we can leave her go. All right, so we're back to this one again. And now what we need to do is put on our registration marks on this page. I'm using my portrait. I could use my cameo if I wanted to, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my registration marks by coming up here to this little page setup panel. And I'm going to come to the third button over that says registration marks. Right now they're off. I'm going to turn them on. The other thing that I like to do is go to this first thing right here and make sure that I have my cut border showing here. So I know, watch when I take it off, see that red line goes away? When I put it on, the red line comes back. So now I have to figure out what can I make, how can I cut her that won't be very noticeable that I can use to build her. So the first thing I'm going to do probably is just twirl her around because I'm thinking, this is just trial and error, but see, I was thinking I could get this part, but notice that her bottom of her bow isn't fitting. What if I twirl it a little bit more? Let's see. All right, that just about works. Ooh, I made it a little smaller. I can't do that. Can't change the size of it right now. I can only change the rotation. All right, if I use the little arrow on my keyboard, that just fits, and this just barely by the skin of my chinny chin chin fits. So what am I going to do with this? Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my arrow key again and make it go this way. Because here's my plan. I'm going to use my knife tool and come down here and maybe cut up through this black part and around here, down here, and perhaps out like that. And that will give me my first part that I can use on my Minnie. So let's come over to the knife tool, and I want it on outline. I don't want it to be straight. I want it to be poly. So now I can come over here, as I said, and start clicking. Where did I say I was going to do it? I think maybe right here. What do you think? Trying to make it be a nice thick piece so I don't have any real skinny piece. I think I will get my arrow key back one more time and shift her over a little bit more using the arrow. Oops, I went too far out right here. Look at that, that's on the outside. So I gotta go back a couple. There we go. All right, now I think I can come in here easily. All right, so again, I'll get my knife tool. It's on outline and poly. I'm gonna turn off auto apply so I have a chance to fix whatever I've done before it's applied. So I'm gonna start right here and just begin clicking. Click along this, right in the middle of that black line, I'm thinking. And you know, I could have scrolled in further so I could see more easily. I double click there to end it. Notice nothing's happened yet though. I have to click apply. Once I've applied it, that added a new step to this, and so these became ungrouped again. Notice that? So what I have to do is I've got to grab both these things and group them, and grab the bottom two parts and group them. And now I can move this off because this will be a print then cut. And let's see if this will fit. If I twirl it, will it fit? Yeah, I think. Gotta look for that little green circle to be able to know where to how to twirl it. Okay, that'll fit perfectly. Okay, I'm now ready to print Minnie, so I'll come up here to File, Print, Print. Then I select the printer that I have, and this is important. Go to your preferences, however you can do that on your printer, and make sure that you have it on high for the color or for the quality. Okay, and then just say okay, and then print. But I'm not going to do that because I've already done it, and I'll show you how that came out. Okay, I placed Minnie on my mat, and I made sure that the square was in the upper left-hand corner of my mat. Then I'll just put this in, and I'm going to select Send on my Silhouette software. Notice it's doing a double cut around this, the outline of her, and around the offset. We don't want a double cut. Right now it's on Simply Cut. I'm going to change it to Cut Edge, and that's going to make it so it only cuts around the edge of her, which is exactly what we want. And it's connecting to my machine. Okay, it's connected. I have it on cardstock textured, and you'll have to do a test on yours to see what works. This is what works on my machine right now, at how old my blade is, etc. So I'm just going to say send, and after I do that, it will read the registration marks, and then it'll cut around this. Okay, it's finished, and I'm going to test first before I do anything else. Looks like it cut perfectly, other than this little section right here. And the reason it didn't cut that well, it must have been outside of the cutting line, but guess what? I can do that easily with my scissors. So I'll just get scissors and cut that part right there. As I said, it must have been outside of the cutting line, but not a problem. There, perfect. Look how nice that turned out. Beautiful. Okay, let's do the other half. Okay, I actually printed and cut out all of the pieces, and now I'm working on the background piece, which is this black piece. I'm just going to make a diagonal cut through it so that it will be easy to put together. I'm turning off my registration marks because those are no longer needed, and I'll have more space to work. So I'm just going to go ahead and figure out where to put this and where I can cut it on the diagonal so that it'll fit perfectly. So remember, you get the knife tool again. You're going to have it on straight this time, and I have auto apply unchecked. When I get to the end, I'll double click on it. And once I've double clicked, I can then apply it. But look, apply is not an option. So what I need to do is to get the arrow tool so that I can select that thing, the knife area right there, and select it. Once it's selected, you'll notice that apply is available again, and I can cut it right apart like that. So the next thing I'm going to do is just cut these two pieces out. I'm going to actually cut them out of white cardstock. In a moment, I'm going to show you an extra little trick that I like to do, and that is to add a little tab to one side or the other so that it's easier to put it together. Okay, to cut this one, I'll just go to Send. And I'm going to leave my settings the way I had them with cardstock heavy and textured, and just say Send. It's just going to cut the outline of it perfectly, which is exactly what I want. When I'm done with that piece, I'm going to move the next piece over, and this is the one onto which I'm going to put that extra little spot right there. So I'm going to get a rectangle, or the rounded rectangle, and just draw one out that I think will kind of fit right there, and click on it to get the green thing so I can rotate it. And I'm going to stick it right there. And I'll show you what you do next. Then I'm going to rotate this guy again because I want to make sure that that extra piece I'm putting on isn't going to be showing outside of my piece, and it looks like a little teeny tiny corner of it might. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to grab that piece, take it away, grab these two pieces, right click and say weld. And that's perfect, exactly what I need. So then I'm going to send this one to be cut, and we'll have both parts ready to put together. Okay, I have all of the pieces, and I'm just checking to make sure I have the right ones to go together. Obviously, her two hands aren't coming out the same side. I'm terrible at puzzles. Anyway, I got come on, you can do it. There you go. Okay, so that one goes together like that. And then I have the other one that goes together, obviously. And then what I'm going to do is put together the white pieces that'll be the inner pieces, using that little tab that I showed you how to put on. It helps. Now I need to make sure that these are both oriented the correct way as well. So I'm going to kind of put it together and put one of these on top again, just so I can make sure that I have the base. Okay, that's perfect, just like that. So now I'm going to glue together the white pieces. And now I'll just begin putting the first part on up here. I'm going to use art glitter glue just so I'll have a little bit more wiggle room when I'm putting this on. For some reason I did forget to show you a step, but first let me tell you what I'm doing here. Just coloring the white edge of the cardstock. It isn't that my machine cut it incorrectly, it's just the white edge where I did the knife cut. So I'm going to color that, and then I'll glue this on here. Okay, with this side having been done, I'm ready to start the other side. And this is when I get out my glue gun and I get out popsicle sticks. This adds a lot of stability to it, especially since it's going to be a stand-up cake, or not cake decoration, but table decoration. So what I'm going to do first is just come through here and start adding on some popsicle sticks to give it more stability. So I kind of hold it up to see if it feels stable and it feels really good. So now what I'm going to do is figure out where do I want to put the stick. And sometimes use a popsicle stick, sometimes I use a skewer. I use different things. So I'll just use the popsicle stick this time. Okay. And after that's done, then I'll start putting on this part. Let's see, so I'll just come up here again with the glue. This uses a lot of glue actually, you guys. So if you have a glue gun like this one that I have here, I really like it because it holds a big thing of glue. So I don't have to keep changing. So this is the hard part. Now I should be standing up to make sure, because you only really get one chance to get this on here properly, because then it's too late. Okay, stick that down. You can come back and fix some of these areas that may not stick because you may not have had glue there originally, but so far so good. So now I'll do this part. Okay, I've got to think about how to line this up. I don't think I did this with the dark marker yet. So let me just do that real quick because that makes a difference, I think. It makes it look nicer. Again, it's not an error from my cutting machine. It's just where I made the knife cut. And the white of the cardstock shows through. And I'd rather it not. Okay, that looks pretty good. So again, take the hot glue gun and start here at the hand if I want to. And just do a little bit at a time because the glue does cool off. Notice I didn't do her tail yet. Okay. She's super cute. Okay, so then I can see places where I need to add some more glue. And I didn't add any glue on her tail. And I'm tempted to use the art glitter glue instead of hot glue, but go for it. Don't want to burn my fingers. There we go. Alright, now you'll be able to see how nice and stable she is and sturdy. She's ready to be put into something. Let's see, a little spot over here that could probably be glued a little more. And that's good. Beautiful.